Now, Press TV's correspondent in Myanmar's Rakhine state says government-backed Buddhists keep burning Muslim villages and destroying their mosques. Following government-backed Buddhist attacks, only 6,000 out of 70,000 Muslims still remain in the city of Sitwe. To get the latest developments now on the ground there, we're joined by our correspondent David Matthews on the line from Rakhine state in Myanmar. David, thanks for being with us. First of all, tell us what you've been seeing there where you are. Of course, the reports that we're getting about villages being burnt down, mosques being burnt down are exclusively what you've been telling us from what you've been seeing on the ground. So do tell us the details.
Well, first of all, let me tell you about these camps. I went to a Rohingya camp this morning where about 20,000 people 20,000 Rohingyas. Now, there is enough food in this camp, enough food to survive, but they're very low on medical supplies. One man who was there since the camp started 40 days ago said that 18 people, mainly children, have died from preventable diseases since the camp started. I saw one child in a very bad condition. He was ill from diarrhea-related illness. Now he's being carried by his father and is unable to walk. So the situation is pretty dire in this camp, particularly from the lack of medical supplies. We have to also remember that this camp that I was allowed to get into is probably one of the best camps, or the camp in which there are the best conditions. The Turkish ambassador was allowed in yesterday, and there was also the vice president of Indonesia and some UN organizations allowed in today. So the military is very tightly controlling what they and we are allowed to see. People inside this camp told me that in the other camps, in which there are many, tens of thousands, of course, Muslims have been displaced. In these other camps, the conditions are far, far worse. In regards to the violence, you were talking about the violence inside this camp. It's interesting here.
Well, I'm afraid it looks like we've just... Yes. David, can you hear me now?
Sorry? Yes, I can hear you, yes.
Okay, we just lost you for a bit there. You've also been telling us that only 6,000 out of the 70,000 Muslims who were in the city of Sitwe remain there. Tell us what's happened to the rest of them.
Well, yes, 70,000 Muslims used to live here. Now only 6,000 remain. The Rohingyas tell me in no uncertain terms that this is ethnic cleansing. I've seen the villages that have been burnt myself. They've been completely razed to the ground. We're talking square kilometre of villages, a number of spaces of land, a square kilometre big, which have been completely destroyed, burned down by the military, by the government. The Rohingyas tell me that the Rakhine people, as well as the police, together came in to burn their villages.
All right, looks like we just lost our connection there with our correspondent joining us from Rakhine State in Myanmar, David Matthews. We'll try to bring him back, though, just as soon as we can for more news. Again, I'll just like to remind our viewers that the latest reports exclusively reported from our correspondent there on the ground, telling us that entire villages, mosques have been burnt down. And again, 6,000 out of the 70,000 Muslims in the state of Sitwe remaining there because of the attacks by the Buddhist majority extremists we're hearing and the security forces in Myanmar. Of course, we'll give you more news on the situation.